René Redzepi, you're the most famous chef in the world. You are the owner of Noma in Copenhagen, and you're now in Holland. My first question is, you are the best restaurant in the world, but you don't have 3 Michelin star. How does it come?
Well, that is a good question. I wouldn't know how to answer it. I think there's, of course, different opinions, different guidebooks that judge restaurants in different ways. I think that what's happening in our region is a fairly new thing, and perhaps the Michelin Guide needs more time to make sure, and perhaps they just simply don't think we're good enough for 3 stars.
But you are the best cook in the world.
Well, I mean, the best cookie in the world is very relative. I'm not too sure that I believe it myself. But again, I think that the Michelin Guide, perhaps one day they will feel that we're good enough, you know.
Okay, you are very famous for your Nordic cuisine, new Nordic cuisine. Can you tell us what is your philosophy?
Well, what we do at Noma, or what we try to do at least, we're not there yet. I don't know if we will ever be there, but we try to somehow take the sum of the people we are, the ingredient we have, the culture we have, the history, and put the sum of that onto a plate, so that when you eat something, it feels as if it could only happen right there at a very specific time of the year. That is somehow our philosophy.
Can you give us an example of an ingredient you use and that you can taste the winter or the spring in a dish?
Well, right now we're going into fall, then leading into winter, and we use quite a lot of a specific berry called sea buckthorn. You have it here in Holland as well, I've seen, but we use it quite a lot in Scandinavia. It is our exotic fruit. We use it as instead of passion fruit, and that's quite present in cuisine throughout winter in our part of the world.
And what do you do with it?
Everything. Everything. We cook desserts with it. We use it as a flavor refresher in sauce. We use it with fish. We use it in vegetable dishes. You name it.
Okay. In your book, you are describing the nature and how you use it. Can you give us a dish which you created most recently?
Yes. Well, that actually happened 2 days ago, because we're starting to have hare on the menu, and we had a little bit of a childish thought that, you know, the hare lives off greens, dandelion greens, and then we based the idea around that a hare eats dandelion greens, and we stew all these dandelions like you would spinach with a aromatic tea made from other wild plants, and then we serve it with like a walnut milk with this hare. That's the latest one.
And I also got a question from a reader of us who has been eating at your restaurant, and it was very good, but she got the living shrimp, and she was asking, why do you serve a living shrimp? Can you tell your philosophy about that?
Sure, I actually think that the living shrimp is delicious. It took us many years to actually realize that the best way to serve this specialty, it is one of our specialties, this small shrimp from our region, is to serve it completely fresh. It is the essence of the sea at the moment, you know, at the specific moment you eat it, it is a perfect representation of the sea that day. And I think it's beautiful to actually get that, you know.
So it's about the emotion.
Also about the flavor. I actually think it tastes very good.
And did you get any reactions on it? Because there was a lot of excitement in Holland about this dish.
Well, there's been many reactions about it. I usually say to people that are nervous about it, I ask them, have you ever eaten an oyster? And people, of course, always say yes. Well, it's not more alive than an oyster. An oyster is also alive when you put it in your mouth. So is this one. The only difference is that this one has eyes staring back at you. And I think that's what people are scared of, or think is a kind of a taboo almost, you know.
Another question of our readers is, could you make a dish with a quail from the North Sea?
I'm sure I could. I've never tasted it.
But what would you do with it?
That I don't know. For that, the way I work, the way the inspiration comes is always by tasting first. You have to see and touch it and taste this ingredient before you can figure out a dish in your head. That's how I work, at least.
Okay. And you were just at Ron Blaauw's. What was the dish that impressed you?
There was a dish with the mussels that was really, really delicious. Mussels and monkfish, super fantastic. But also a dish which was a very funny dish, you know, quite humoristic. It was somehow the landscape of Amsterdam, which I thought was a bit funny. But the best one was the one with the mussels. That was very intensity of flavor, pure, delicious.
But why did you like the landscape of Amsterdam? Can you tell us how it was?
Well, it was vegetables cut so that it looked like the skyline. There was a terrine of foie gras to look like the small Amstels, you know. There was all sorts of other things. The red light district was represented. It was fun, you know. It was fun.
You were there when you were eating it.
I was what?
You were in the red light district when you were eating.
No. I was. Yeah, well, I've never been to the red light district until I had that dish.
Okay. One last question. You are doing very much things in your laboratory. You just told us. What's the thing you are working on now?
Oh well, there's so many things. Well, right now, one of the major things we're still working on is this umami project. Seeing how to extract these meaty type of flavors out of vegetables, which is an ongoing thing that we'll do for a long time.
And when people want to come to eat to you, how long is the waiting time at this moment?
We open reservations 3 months ahead. On the 1st of the month. So on the 1st of next month, we're going to open 3 months ahead, the full month. I don't know if I made myself clear here or if I confused it, and then it's open to anybody. So that's a matter of being patient and keep calling or keep updating the website for online booking.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.